enough rejection the last 25 years to wallpaper the bathroom. I have yet to have one manuscript accepted for publication. If I were to write a book about your life, it probably won't even get read by a publisher. By then, I realized the importance of the story I told them. It should be recorded, though. I'm just not the right person to do it. In all fairness to you, I have to admit, I can't do it. He must have seen something in me that I hadn't yet seen in myself, and said, son, never say you can't. Always say you can. Looking across the table at a century of courage, the only answer was, yes, sir. He handed me a pen and said, there's no time to waste. Born in 1898, George Dawson was the grandson of slaves. In more than a century of living, George Dawson fought 19 presidents, 2 world wars, the rise of the Ku Klux Klan, the power of the Civil Rights Movement, and of course numerous inventions that we take for granted. The telephone, the light bulb, computers, automobiles, among others. But because he couldn't read, he was always limited to lower-paying jobs. Yet living in poverty, he led a rich life full of meaning and satisfaction. He raised 7 children, all of whom graduated from college. In 1916, just before America entered World War I, when he was 18 years old, his foreman at a lumber mill picked up a stick, drew a big X to the dirt, and said, boy, this X will forever be your name. And for the next 8 years, that X was his name, as he worked for more than 7 decades, breaking horses, pounding spikes for the railroads, and working as a laborer. That finally changed at the age of 98 when George Dawson started school. He learned to read and write and took such pride in signing his own name. Reading and the world of books soon followed the alphabet. And with his new knowledge, he was able to contribute his own story to the world of books that he had just so recently discovered. The power of the written word changed his life. He traveled by airplane. He always took the window seat so they could see everything there was to see. He went to New York, Chicago, and Seattle, and proud of being a schoolboy, came back to his classroom with his press case. His teacher always made time for show and tell. School came late in life, but by then, like everything else, it was a moment to be savored. It was as if he'd entered the 20th century all at once. And when the 21st century came, this man who had walked through 3 centuries had plans, hopes, and dreams. You're never too old, never too late, he would always say. He was aware that in this new century, which he had never expected to see, he'd become a role model and inspiration for others. He accepted that with pride, never as a burden. You can't help everybody, but you can always help someone, he would say. People with college degrees came to him for money. He took it in stride, as he told me. I've been ignored for 100 years. If people want to talk to me now, that's fun. Okay. But having lived for more than a century, George Dawson was a vibrant, vital man whose life was still cut short too early. At the time of an injury, a fall in which he hit the back of his head that led to his death, he was learning something new every day, meeting new people, and had a ticket in hand to travel to New York City to be awarded an honorary doctorate degree. In both age and health, he defied the odds, but as he would be the first to say, you can't change the rules. After walking in 3 centuries, George Dawson died July 5th, 2001. He was the common man, but not forgotten. At his funeral, 1,800 people came to say goodbye and to honor him for the courage it took to make his desire to learn to read a reality. The first 98 years of Dawson's life were remarkable indeed. His survival with quiet dignity was something to look back on with pride. But he didn't look back. He looked forward and had a lifelong dream ahead of him to fulfill. And though it was only 5.5 years from when he started school till death ended his studies, that was a hugely important part of his life. As he often said, I've learned more, talked about ideas, met more people in the last 5 years on this earth than in the first 98 years I walked the ground. I walked into another world, all